Hey guys, it's Shadow, and I play Mark Campbell. If you like listening to our games, consider supporting us on Patreon. More patrons directly increase the quality and quantity of the games that we play. Go to patreon.com/critfail to support us. Thanks!
Hello and welcome to Crit Fail, and this is the third in our very long list of two others
Yes.
on how to make a character. And we're going to do Tales from the Loop,
What a
which
great game.
it is. And it's funny, all the games I didn't know much about, and we just sort of went, yeah, let's do it because it looks cool, have ended up being a lot more interesting and a bigger focus for us than I ever expected.
Yeah.
Carbon Grey, Tales from the Loop, Broken Tales definitely fell into that category. Star Trek, although I'm a big Trekkie in a lot of ways, I still think it was a tricky game in areas, and I didn't think we'd be hitting it as hard as we did.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's sort of the ones I did think we'd be doing a lot of. We didn't quite end up doing that. So, Tales from the Loop is the 1980s. To say it's a mix of Stranger Things and X-Files and stuff like that is disingenuous to what it is. But if you want a sort of idea of where to start sort of mentally with it, it is that sort of there's robots and floating tractors and things that go bump in the night and mysteries and you're playing you play kids, so it's very much sort of got that Stranger Things element. It's also got a bit of the Scooby Gang element to it, and then mixed with a lot of other things from technology to the spooks. Yeah, I've been very impressed with everything that it is, and it's based on a large series of paintings that a Swede artist did, where he grew up in the 80s and he was painting areas he'd been, and then to make them interesting and not just a landscape shot, he started adding maglevs and robots and just weird machinery and refineries that were not quite normal, and that went from that to becoming this great role-playing game.
And we're going to show you how to make a character.
Yes, I am Ghost. I
I'm
am
Emily.
going to just look at the book, and Emily's going to do all the work.
Oh, good.
So, yeah, you're playing kids at school who are doing mysteries and getting thrown into all sorts of things outside of it. For the most part, the adults do not believe any of the things that happen. They're wrong, of course, but that is so the kids are the ones having to solve all the mysteries. So the first thing to do is to choose your type.
Okay. Now, I know which type I'm picking, but the other options, because I am a bookworm, the other ones were what? Computer nerd, troublemaker. There's a few.
Computer geek, hick, jock, rocker, popular kid, weirdo.
Ah. All right. Well, my character is a bookworm.
The second thing you do is decide your age, and this is between 10 to 15 years old.
And my character is 11.
And that affects your attributes. You distribute a number of points equal to your age in the 4 attributes, from 1 to 5 points in each.
1 to 5 points. Okay. For me, I probably want to put most in mind because I mostly do a lot of investigate. So we'll put a full 5 in that, which gives me 6 to distribute among the others. Let's do 2 in heart. We'll do 2s across the board for the rest. average in most things. Great with mind.
And then you determine your luck points, which is equal to 15 minus your age.
Yeah, see, this is where being 11 comes in handy because I get fewer things in my attributes, but I'm a lot luckier than if I were 15. I guess
Which
I.
gets to be spent to do some cool things,
Yeah.
allowing you to re-roll and stuff like that without having to take a condition.
Mm-hmm.
Determine your skills. You have 10 points, and you may take up to level 3 in the 3 key skills related to your type. For other skills, a starter skill level is 1.
All right, and remind me of the key skills for my type.
So if we look up Bookworm, calculate, investigate, and comprehend
Calculate,
are the
investigate,
3.
comprehend. Okay, I can go up to 3 in those, and I have 10 total, it was?
Yes, everything else can only be 1.
Okay, let's do a 3 and a 2. That's put me at 5, so I've already got halfway. All right, now I've got 4 remaining, 3 remaining, 2, 1, and 0. All right, that's my skills.
Pick an iconic item.
Aha, mine is a flashlight. And for those, there's not any specific. I mean, if I recall correctly, they do give suggestions, but you can come up with one even outside of the ones they suggest for the type, correct?
That is correct.
All right.
And the iconic item gives you 2 bonus dice if you use it for a skill roll in a way that makes sense.
For sure.
Pick a problem.
Ooh, a problem. Okay. Mine was a mean older sister and a mom who's very busy at work and not always there, so I'm just going to summarize family problems.
And those come into play during the adventure. They don't have a mechanical effect, but they do have the effect of getting in the way of certain things happening. Player availability, like character availability, and other things that come up that they have to deal with while still trying to save the town from some hideous monster or problem that's happening.
Yep.
Pick a drive.
A drive. Ooh, what was my drive again? Drive is what motivates you to investigate, or what motivates you to be part of the
Essentially.
group, or what's
I want to find answers to the big questions in life, or I need something to brag about. Is the drive for Bookworm as suggestions, but obviously.
Oh, okay. I think mine was just more like wants to be included.
Pick a pride.
A pride. Okay. And this is one that does have a mechanic tied to it. Mine was she's the bookworm, she reads a lot, and she thinks she's smarter than other kids her age. And the pride, the little box next to it, you can check and uncheck, at least on a fillable character sheet like this. On a paper one, I guess you could check it in with a pencil and erase it when you need to. When your pride comes into play, there are mechanics related to that.
Define your relationships to the other kids and to NPCs.
Ah, yes. Okay, so they do give you 4 slots on this character sheet for other kids. I don't have anyone else making a character with me here, but I'm just going to put a couple of the ones from our campaign. So we've got Dylan. She helps him with his homework at the beginning. We've got Mark, who she knows from the library. Wayne, I don't think we ever established like a super concrete way she knew Wayne. I think it was just through the other two. And then NPCs, each character makes up NPCs that they've got a connection to. So I had a school librarian
Yep,
and
that's correct.
a neighbor, next door neighbor, that my character cat sits for. And you could fill in a lot more about those. I'm just doing the bare minimum at the moment.
Select an anchor.
An anchor. Yes, mine was actually the neighbor that I chose. And where does anchor go on the sheet? Or does it? Oh, right here. Mine was the neighbor that I created as one of my NPCs, who's around a lot more than my character's mother actually is, and who she can spend time with when she is feeling like nobody is home, because her mother and sister are not always home.
Name your kid.
Haha, Lizzie. Short for Elizabeth.
Write a short description.
And it has to be really short if you want it to fit in on this line, but you can definitely do a longer description elsewhere. Let me just type a couple basic things. Yeah, that's all I'm going to fit in there.
Question 14 is one of my favorite ones. There was only 2 of the group that had actually was aware that the 1980s was a thing. All the others had been born well after it.
Hey, I'm still aware it was a thing.
Choose your favorite song, and I think this caused more stress to some people than anything else, who had to then try to go back and listen to 1980s hits.
No, we all knew 1980s songs, and mine's Everybody Wants to Rule the World.
SPG's gone even further. He's gone to Sinatra and Humperdinck.
Yeah, he went back a little further.
He did. He has really been hitting Sinatra hard. Now, this is meant to be together.
Yes.
But the group isn't all here. But you then define the group's hideout.
So, our hideout is a treehouse. And after deciding this, we remembered that our game is set in Nevada, in a desert, a small deserty town, for which we then created an entire forest that was a DARPA experiment, because we'd said we had a treehouse. So we've got a treehouse.
Which is the joy of Tales from the Loop. DARPA is a real government organization that develops all sorts of scientific stuff. And it's a very shadowy organization in Tales from the Loop.
Yes.
So we have used them for many a cool thing. And yes, they created a forest as part of a possible experiment to see if they could grow trees in a hostile environment like Mars. Others believe it was simply
our treehouse.
No. Others think it was merely that they wanted to make it easier to keep the golf course green.
Yeah.
So there is some questions for the group and individual players. That was one. So, everyone's meant to have a say in where the hideout is. And they give me a few questions, and the GM can come up with their own if they want. And I originally had everyone roll randomly and just threw them out there. So I think, did you have 2 questions? Everyone had 2 questions, right?
Yes, because I remember I was asked what my character's favorite food was and what her room looks like. And I'm just going to put those in notes for now. There's not a specific section for this. So her favorite food is chocolate chip pancakes. And her room that she shares with her older sister is painted half purple, half green, split down the middle, and their sides are very, very different depending on whose side it is. One is a lot neater, one is covered in clothes and magazines. That one is not my character's side. Anyway, those were my answers to those questions. But the questions are really great, both the ones that were specific to individual characters and ones the characters answered as a group together more, because it does help you come up with things you might not necessarily have thought of when creating a character, which just helps to flesh it out a little more. And once you start thinking of that, it can help you think of other things. So I really like that style of character creation.
I do too. Like, what do your parents do for work? What do you think about school? Do you have
Mm-hmm.
siblings? What does your room look like? What do
Mm-hmm.
you dream about at night? What makes you angry? What do you want to be when you grow up? What's your experience with the robots? What's the furthest you've traveled?
Ah.
And the ones for the group are interesting. I would just say curate them a little as the GM, just because depending on what it is, you can get them going for quite a while, and that can be
Yeah.
good, but it can also get a bit circular if they can't quite agree, because some of them are really good, and some of them are just useful but not essential. Like, what makes you laugh, and
Okay.
that's aimed at the group, and they can still come up with a clever thing. But then the ones that I found that you might want to curate a little if it goes too long, because they might have very different opinions on what that might be, is what secrets do you have? Who wants to be in the gang? And this is like the Scooby Gang, not a criminal gang, street gang kind of thing. Who dislikes you? Now, we've sort of established that some of the jocks,
Oh, Dylan would have an endless list of who dislikes him.
yeah,
It would
we
involve
we
most
have,
of the teachers and other students.
and there's a lot of gangs, like the kids in this town, and they're all themed. Who's in love with who? That one, of course, everyone has to sort of,
Yeah,
agree
you'd have
upon.
to
Players
talk
have to,
that through. You couldn't just
yeah.
decide, yeah.
What sets you apart from the other kids? I think that's a really good question.
We've got a treehouse.
And that is essentially your character. You get to
Yeah.
choose a few items if you want to take some general gear. It's a descriptive storytelling game, so it doesn't rely on the same sort of hard and fast equipment list and that like some games do. But it's still a good idea to have the characters have sort of a general thing of what they carry, just so they don't have an endless supply of things.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a very quick and easy character creation process that really works towards giving you an idea about who your character is
Yeah.
right from the start.
And if you can, it's one that is best to, if you do the whole thing together as a group, it's going to make it a lot easier. If you can't, there are bits you could do before meeting with all the players and then sorting out the stuff that you need to decide together. But honestly, it'd be more fun if you just do it all together.
I think so. So yeah, I think Tails is one of the easiest character creation processes we have.
That is true.
And
Quick.
it hasn't really gotten in the way. Like, although it's not a particularly complex or lengthy sheet, I don't think it's got in the way of the actual game when we've played it. It's worked
No,
very well for what it needs to do.
it's nice and quick, easy character creation, easy to get started playing the game, which we definitely recommend that you do because it is very, very good.
So there you have it. Tales from the Loop, released by Free League,
Play
played
it.
by Crit Tail.
And you, if you want.
Yeah,